What's good, YouTube? Easy now, 1337 aka Ace. No, here today with my shirt. You're not that bad, I'm just that awesome. Telling you the tutorial for my card trick. A simple card trick, be amazed with all the question mark stuff. If you didn't see it, it is in the video description. Make sure you go and check it out. I'm using a very old deck of cards because I can't be asked to use one of my new cards for a tutorial. So some things may go wrong because older cards are pretty crap. So if you want to set up this trick, you can. You don't have to. You could do it with a shuffled deck no matter what. It just means that you won't have the same effect as what I'm going to show you now. The one that I done in my original trick, I'm pretty sure that I used just a random deck, so go and watch it again and you'll see the effect. But with this one, I'm going to be using these three cards. So you're going to put the two aces on top of the deck in whichever order you want. If you want to have the black one second from bottom or the red one, it's totally up to you. And then you're going to have what we call an indifferent card, which just means any card from the deck which isn't the two cards that you want. This is just going to be for show purposes the card that's on top. If you wanted to from here, you could do some full shuffles and just make it look like you're mixing the deck up, but you know, it's not necessary because that's not the trick. If you wanted to do it from a shuffled deck, you can. You don't need the setup. Now, at the start of the trick in the last video, I explained what palming is. This isn't just me informing you of something. This is part of the trick. This is me convincing you to look for a certain thing, and I'll show you in a second. It's called a convincer. So what you do is you take the top card, you don't even have to show it, and you just stand it up like this, and then you say, now this is what palming is. It's when someone hides something in their palm, and you literally just palm the card, just take it, bend it a little bit so it sticks between your fatty bit of your hand here and your little finger. If you want to clip it, you don't even have to be honest. It's clipped here at the top of your fingers, and that's what palming is. And then you could show them the card if you want to and explain that's what palming is, and you can gesture to them normally to hide something in your hand. Now that's telling people to look for two things: one, that there's something in your hand, and two, that your hand is shaped like this when you palm something. Now it doesn't look unnatural, but it doesn't look quite right. So that's what people are looking for, because later on you're going to repeat this exact hand movement and hand shape later on. So after you finish with palming that card and showing them, you just pocket that card into the middle of the deck, push it in. Now you need to grab a double lift. Now what a double lift is the two cards on top of the deck. You're going to show the second card from bottom, the red ace, as the top card, so they're not even going to see this card. Now to do this, what I usually do is when I'm pushing in this card like this, I'll try and do it from this exposed view. When I'm doing this, I literally just thumb up the back of the deck here until I get to the last two cards, which is here, and then slip my little finger in there and hold a break underneath the two top cards. Now when you're going to show the cards, you just literally put your finger into that break and flip the two cards over as one card. Now a double lift is the staple of any magician, but it's so hard to learn at first. So don't worry if the card just keeps splitting and stuff. You will get used to it. It's something that naturally comes. It's called building up muscle memory. So once you just keep practicing the double lift, it just becomes natural and it just looks like one card when it's actually two cards. So the point of this is to show that the ace is on top. You're going to turn it over and you're going to place it in the same position as the first card when you were showing them what palming is. You can even show them that it's the ace when you can see that the black ace is actually behind. At this point here, you've got your thumb on top of the card and your rest of your fingers on the bottom of the card, so these two cards won't split apart. You can even move it up and down to show people. You can even take it away as long as you keep your grip on those two cards. Now you might be able to see it on these because these are old cards, so they're all bent different ways, so you may see it split slightly, but this is just for tutorial purposes. So when you're in this section here, you're going to do the same movement where you bring your hand across, and remember, keep your hand in that same position as you was earlier. And all you're going to do from an exposed view is when you bring your hand across to take the card, is just drop the cards back onto the top of the deck, and then it looks like you've palmed the card now. People are expecting it to be here because of what you did. So now you're just going to put your hand on the table, do it as slow as you want, and just show that the cards have disappeared. But during this movement, when you're here, you need to get a break under two cards again. So what you're going to do is, while you've got the bigger motion here, so it's called bigger motion and little motion, you're going to put your hand like this, and then all you're going to do with your other hand is thumb off two cards on top of the deck and then pull it back under with your finger underneath. As you're doing this, because people will all be focusing on this hand when you're doing this, all you need to do, you don't even have to make it as obvious as I'm making it here. It's pretty easy once you get used to it. You just use your finger, thumb off, and there you see I'm in position now while I'm doing this. Now that you're in this section, even though you've got a break under two cards, you only want to turn over the top card, because they expect you to be placing this card on the table. So when it's disappeared, their first thought is that it's here again. So you turn over the top card and show that it's a black ace, and they're like, wow, the card's actually gone. But then you need to make the card reappear. Now in the actual trick, I use like it's called I can't remember what it's called, but I call it a flick change, which basically means you'd pick up the two cards, so you've got one either side. You put 2 fingers on each corner here. You put your other 2 fingers on the other 2 corners, and you just sort of flick it around. So the first 2 fingers, you want to bend the card back this way, so you can see you pivot the card, and then pull it back and let it go. Now obviously at speed it looks a lot better, you see. If you're trying to explain it and do it slowly, it doesn't quite work as good. But to a spectator, it's just bang, and the card's changed, and then you just literally drop the 2 cards back on the deck, and you can show them the ace, and then the other ace is back on top of the deck. If you don't want to do the flick change, because the flick change is very fiddly, it's something you have to practice every day until you get the pressure down right, you can literally just take your 2 fingers onto the corners of the cards. Most people do it on these corners. I don't like doing it on them corners. I do it on the corners with the pips. I show them the card. Now I'm going to move over to the left a bit. In a real world situation, what I'd usually do is I take the card away from myself, so they're all looking over there, and then all you do is you just bring your hands backwards and forwards, and in the motion of going backwards and forwards, all you do is you just flip the card over like so, and then just carry on, and then you can bring the cards back and you've changed the card again. I prefer the flick one for YouTube because it's something that I can just edit if I wanted to. Like if I do one that works pretty well, one that doesn't work pretty well, I could just start the trick again and do it again. But in real world situation, I tend not to use the flick one because it can go wrong, and then you just look like a fool. But me, I just laugh it off and get on with it. So that is the trick in its entirety. So let me just quickly go back through it. So at the start, you've got an indifferent card on top. I'm going to use this bent card, this 8 of hearts, and you show what palming is. So you take the card, you show the things. This convinces them that that's what they're looking for. You put the card away. As you're pushing the card in, you thumb up the back until you get a break there. Stick your little finger in. So you've got a break there underneath the top 2 cards. You turn over the top card and show it. Well, it's actually the second from top, but you show that as being the top card. You stand it up again in the same position. You bring your hand in the front like you're going to palm it, and all you do is just drop the cards. Then when you're over here doing this, all you do is thumb off 2 cards again, get a break underneath it. Everyone's looking here, remember? The cards disappeared. They think the ace of diamonds is here, so you turn over the top card and it's the ace of clubs. And then you just go into the movement where you change it into anything you want, any way you want, and you bring back their card. One thing I wanted to say is, in my previous trick, people said that I edited it because the card disappeared. Well, I purposefully done that. Like, you can use your whole hand to cover it, like you go into palm the card before you drop it. But I left a little bit of gap here on this corner, because even if they see a little bit of gap, it looks like it disappears at speed. It looks like the card just vanishes. So I'm going to try it here. So I turn it a little bit, and then you see it just looks like it disappears if you do it at speed. If that's what you're looking for, obviously you're going to see it. You're going to see it fall back. But that's all I done in that last trick, was I just went boom and just dropped the card. But because people focus on this hand, because you've already convinced them that that's what they're looking for, they don't actually see it. Like, they just don't see it until they really watch the video or it's explained to them. And that's the entire trick. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please drop a like and a favourite. If I get enough likes on this video, I may do the other card trick. I may explain that one, and I may do some more card tricks as well. God, these cards are ruined. They're absolutely ruined. If you can see like the dirt on the on the hat in there, like all the cards are like got gaps in. Ridiculous. Anyway, that's me done. Drop a like and a favourite, all that good stuff. Peace out. Take care.